It all started on a Tuesday. Tuesday's the weekday equivalent of a coat hanger stuck in your washing machine. Awkward, vaguely ominous, and bound to result in a lot of unplanned screeching. Dennis worked in a factory that manufactured absolutely nothing. Well, technically the paperwork said they made innovative cross-dimensional bolts. In reality, the bolts never left the factory. They just disappeared into the walls one day and reappeared a week later in the supply closet, slightly resentful. The job was simple: hit the big green button, ensure nothing screamed, and clock out before the light started bleeding. Dennis was good at it. Not great, but good. He didn't ask questions about the fluorescent orange fog that seeped out of the ventilation ducts every 17 minutes. He didn't flinch when the coffee machine whispered. He just did his job. Until Tuesday. That morning, Dennis was tightening a cog that didn't appear to have a purpose. It was attached to nothing, rotated for no discernible reason, and occasionally hummed in B-flat. It was while he was adjusting it that the wrench in his hand giggled. Not a full laugh, just a small, unsettling snicker. Dennis stared at it. The wrench stared back, which was unexpected as wrenches don't tend to have eyes. This one, however, had two beady pupils that swiveled unnervingly, like marbles full of bad intentions.
"Oi,"
the wrench said in a gravelly voice.
"you're doing it wrong."
Dennis blinked. Pardon?
"The cog.
The wrench replied, as though speaking tools were perfectly normal.
You're tightening it clockwise. It wants counterclockwise today."
Cogs don't want anything, Dennis muttered.
"Tell that to your lunchbox."
The wrench retorted. Dennis glanced down at his lunchbox, which had sprouted legs and was moonwalking across the workbench. Right, time to go home. As Dennis turned to leave, the intercom crackled to life.
"Attention employees, please refrain from panicking. There has been a minor incident in the assembly line. If you notice any anomalous behavior, please report it to HR immediately. That is all."
In the distance, a co-worker lazily exclaimed.
"The water cooler's eating Jeremy."
Dennis sighed. HR was going to be useless. HR was always useless. Last week they sent out a memo advising staff to stop making unauthorized eye contact with the fourth-dimensional stapler. The wrench snapped its teeth, which it now inexplicably had.
"Oi, you're not done here. If you don't tighten the cog, the whole factory goes poof."
What do you mean, poof? Dennis asked.
"Poof,"
The wrench said.
the sound a bubble makes when it decides it's sick of existing, only bigger and more cataclysmic.
On the one hand, he wanted to go home, maybe crack open a beer and pretend his tools didn't have teeth. On the other hand, he didn't really want to be atomized by a petulant cog. Reluctantly, he turned back to the cog. The orange fog had thickened and the walls were humming now, in harmony with the cog. "Fine," Dennis said, lifting the wrench. "But if you bite me, I'm feeding you to the paper shredder."
"I'm a wrench. What the is a paper shredder gonna do to me?"
Dennis gave the wrench an exasperated look. The wrench grinned.
Okay. Just hurry."
As Dennis tightened the cog counterclockwise, the factory began to tremble. The floors warped, rippling like water. The overhead lights flickered. For a brief moment, Dennis could swear he saw stars beyond the ceiling. Not the cozy kind of stars you wish upon, but the cold, indifferent ones that hum in equations and eat galaxies for breakfast. Then, as suddenly as it began, the trembling stopped. The wrench exhaled, and the factory returned to its usual dismal self. Dennis dropped the wrench, which yawned and curled into a nap. He walked into the break room, ignoring the vending machine, which was now reciting Shakespearean sonnets. He poured himself a cup of coffee, which promptly climbed out of the mug and marched away on tiny espresso legs. Dennis didn't even blink. It was, after all, only Tuesday.